While it's not a typical barrier to progress in the same sense as general riding technique, overtaking is a task that every track rider must face, and one that can often be detrimental to their track time. In this video, we're going to talk about why overtaking is so difficult, and what you can do to make it easier to reduce the frustration that often comes with this part of track riding. So why is overtaking so difficult? It's my feeling that overtaking is a barrier for newer riders for similar reasons as something like increasing corner entry speed. I feel it's similar because the rider is being forced to do something they're not used to doing. When trying to increase corner entry speed, for example, you have to take more speed into the corner in order to achieve that goal, or you'll not increase corner entry speed. When you attempt an overtake, you are once again going to have to do something you're not used to doing. This could be braking at a different point, entering the corner at a different speed, or taking a different line into the corner, all while having to manage the space you leave the other rider. It's a tough ask if overtaking is something you've not done very much of. Even just straying off line can be daunting, and I distinctly remember frequent moments of mild panic in my earlier track experiences as riders overtook me on the inside, causing me to steer later in the corner than I was used to. In some cases, the fear of running straight on and missing the corner altogether because of that line change was pretty substantial. In reality, all it really took me to navigate the corner just fine was to steer a bike length or two later and all was well. But that same false and overblown perception is what has riders fearing making the commitment to move into another unknown area to get the overtake done decisively. One of the keys to being better at overtakes is to improve your overtaking perspective. What you often see from less experienced riders is the tendency to brake later in an attempt to pass on the inside, but then they bail out halfway through and stand the bike on its nose to get it slowed down for the corner, being left going much slower than they normally do. But ask yourself this: if you were able to brake much harder and enter the corner with less speed than you normally do, what would have happened if you had just gone for it and drawn level or maybe slightly ahead like you'd planned to do? Chances are you would have made a comfortable pass and made it around the corner just fine. The reason you bailed out of the pass was very likely attributed to what you were doing with your eyes at the time. Focusing on the rider you want to overtake too much is going to make your job more difficult. As soon as you take your attention away from where you're going and where you want to go, your brain is going to more than likely override that plan and cause you to continue down the path you know is safe, which is to brake more and sit behind the rider for another corner, feeling pretty frustrated. Your goal in this instance should be to spend just enough attention on the rider you're overtaking so that you know where they are and where they're heading so that you can make a safe pass. But the rest of your attention should be where it normally is, tracking your position and heading on the circuit and judging the space you have ahead of you. So what should you do when you're stuck? If you find yourself stuck behind a rider longer than you'd like and going slower than you know you can go, first look to gain perspective on just what you're doing as you remain behind them. You may realise that the other rider is a lot weaker and you're sitting well within your ability. With that internal perspective, look to gain external perspective by getting the bulk of your attention off that rider in front of you and instead on the places where it should be. By being less focused on the rider you're trying to get past, you should be able to make a much better decision about where and how you can pass, but you'll also stand a better chance of fully committing to the pass, being assertive and making it stick. Another point to add here is to exercise patience. I know it's tough at times, but try not to get too frustrated if you're stuck behind a rider for longer than you'd like. Many of the unnecessarily close passes you see on track days can be avoided just with better perspective and a little bit of patience. In the end, they have as much right to be there as you do, so just consider it as another challenge on the track that you need to overcome, rather than getting annoyed at the person because they've affected your ideal lap time. Overtaking is a tough challenge, but it's not one that can't be overcome. In time and with more experience, overtaking becomes a much smaller drain on your attention and a much smaller frustration overall. Unfortunately though, it's something that won't get considerably easier until you have experience of performing the skill. So do your best to gain and keep perspective and then just go for it. And chances are the vast majority of your overtaking attempts will be safe ones when taking this approach. How have you found overtaking during your time on track? Tell us about your experience in the comments down below, and if you like the video then please be sure to hit the button and share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more performance riding advice and guides moving forward. As always, I'll see you in the next one.